Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of Let's Learn Crusader Kings 2. Remember, we are playing as Sweden, currently called Courland, and today we're going to be talking about the character view. So you can see right now this gold outline means I'm a king. So we are King Stenkel of Courland. We are also the heir to the county of Moray. So we're going to go through basically everything here is in depth. Now the first thing that I should mention that is very, very cool is if you are a historical character, so you are a real character, there is a Wikipedia link to you, which is always very nice. And this is our age. Now, a dynasty tree, a family tree, and a realm tree. What's the difference? A realm tree is basically has all your vassals in it and their vassals and their king and their children and everything like that. So this is, you know, your administrative tree of vassals. So you can see this is a duke and he controls 2 counts. That's very useful to keep track of your vassals. Next one we have is a family tree, which, as you can guess, children, wife, fathers, grandparents, great-grandparents, which is nice to keep track of your children. Which, remember, you know, he is my heir because he's the oldest child. And also the dynasty tree, and the dynasty tree is very important because in this game, when you die, the next person in your dynasty is the person you play as. It might not be the King of Sweden. So say if someone else becomes the King of Sweden, my heir is a count, I then play as the count. So if I extend this, these are my current children in my dynasty, House Stenkeling. He's 16, 18, 19 and 20. So when I die, currently I am going to be King Prince Igni, because he is a it's to do with the, what's it called, the succession laws of this country stuff at the minute. But I will play as King Prince Igni. Now if Prince Igni dies, I'll play with one of these 3. If all 4 of these die, and I have nowhere else to go down from here, the game ends. So you always need at least someone you can play as when you die, and that depends where it goes, depends on the succession laws. But right now we have 4 people, so we don't need to worry about that. And you know, some of these may be counts, some of them may be kings. Maybe we'll send one of them over to get married to the Queen of France, and then he'll become the King of France. You know, and then everyone else dies and I play as the King of France. It can really get, you know, very, very different. And that is the realm tree. Sorry, the dynasty tree. So I'm going to get out of. Next, we have some generic stuff. Where we are is very important because, say, if you go on a crusade, you're not in your kingdom, you have someone take over for you. So this is good. It also tells you for leading armies, stuff like that. Now down to the gritty stuff. Our scores. And I'm going to give you a basic overview of what all these scores do. Diplomacy is to do with how people, I'm going to read this message up, but how people look at you, your chance to get agreements with people. And, you know, basically how good you are at talking to people and how much they like you. High diplomacy means your vassals will like you better and be able to like you more better. State Marshal. So this is if you're leading an army, your martial skill depends how well your armies will be led. Stewardship is your income as well as your size, which is how many holdings you can have. So all these scores go up to 100. So say if you had 30 stewardship skill, you could probably hold like 10 holdings, which means that that economy and that income and those levies are going to go directly to you rather than through a vassal. So you always want to be trying to cap out on your dismiss size. Intrigue is how good you are at plots and assassinating people and jailing people, uncovering plots, stuff like that. And your state learning is how quickly your country advances and also to do with your religion. And you can see that these are my scores, but we also have a bracketed score. And the bracketed score is basically you get half of it from your wife, rounded down I think, or a third of it from your wife. So if she has 11 stewardship skill, if we go to here now, then you can see that she gives me 5, so yeah, half. And also from my councillors, which I mentioned here, have a score that you can appoint, so I can appoint better people. And so the colonned one, sorry, the bracketed one, is the score of your entire kingdom, as opposed to just you, which is very important. Next we have wealth, prestige, you can see there, that's monthly prestige you get from owning things. Piety and score, which we have none of because when we die we get it. And this sort of book thing here shows our job, essentially, our education, you know, record. and we are a tough soldier. So we get +3 to martial, -1 to learning, and plus 0.5 health. And you know, we can improve that. You can see that has 2 stars. Jobs go up to 4 stars, I believe. And so like we may become from a tough soldier to a fielder general. I forget what it's called, but that can improve. And each child, when it grows up, will get one of these sort of job descriptions. Now these more circular ones are personality traits. So you can see here we have lustful, which means we're more fertile, but we lose piety. Wrath, more martial, less intrigue and diplomacy. Charitable, more diplomacy. Diligent, 1 of everything. Pneumonia, which makes us terrible at everything. And the important thing about traits is, say if you have something like clubfoot, that can spread to your children. So when picking a wife, it's very common to, you know, pick on traits essentially and artificially create the perfect offspring that you can by, you know, only picking people with good traits. And that can be a very, very intelligent way to have a very, very good ruler over a couple of generations if you do that right. But it's very hard to get that right because, you know, you can get a trait from your mother or your father, so it's kind of a bit odd. Next we have titles, claims. Claims being that places we have a right to but we don't own. So, for instance, I'm thinking of a good way to have a claim. Well, basically, maybe you have a count who has a claim on Denmark. Say he used to own this part of Denmark, but they took it from him before it became part of your vassalage. You have a claim then on this area. And that's how claims work. They're areas that you can declare a war against. Also, some claims, if the current holder of that title dies, the claim may pass to you. You know, you may be an heir, essentially, but not really an heir. And that's how succession wars happen. Say the ruler of Spain has no heir, and 2 people have a claim to it, they have a war over who gets Spain. But anyway, then we have the family here. So children and siblings, both siblings are dead, both parents and grandparent is dead. But we also have some children. This little blood thing indicates that they are a direct blood family. And the crown indicates he's my heir, he's who I'm going to play as when I die. Next from that we have vassals. Now each vassal has an opinion of you, which you can see here. The max is 100, the bottom is -100, and their tax will be related to if they're in the positive or negative of you. So you can see right now, let's go to here, he gives me nothing. Here, okay, here. He gives me nothing. Now the nice thing about bishops is, well the terrible thing about bishops is, for them to give you their tax, they have to like you more than the Pope. And normally they start liking the Pope at 100. So you have to make them not like the Pope as much and like you more to get their tax. But they can give you quite a lot of money. So you can see here is all of our opinions and stuff. This little speech bubble here means that they get to have a vote in who is the heir. So you can see right now he hates me, so he's going to vote against me. Which he is. He's voting for Prince Eric the Heathen. Whereas this person is voting for green means part of my dynasty, so I don't need to worry. And that will be all my vassals. I can click on them and then from there do diplomacy with them. Next we have my court. And my court is people, all these councillors are picked from my court. So you can see right now we only have 11 people in our court. And all of these could be picked to be a councillor. So, you know, you can invite more people to your court and then make them councillors and stuff like that. Next is allies. And we have an ally with the Jarl of Uppland, which is up here. He's part of Sweden, but he's my ally. And the reason for this is that allies in Crusader Kings 2 aren't between countries, they're between people. So say, for instance, Norway, the King of Norway has a daughter and I have a son, and they get married. That forms an alliance between me and Norway because we have common blood. And, you know, sometimes you don't get an alliance and sometimes you do. It depends on who's getting married. And that alliance will last until either party dies. So if I die and I have a new heir, that alliance with Norway is now broken. It doesn't matter anymore. Which is, can be a pain. Next we have abroad. So we have characters that are going abroad somewhere. Say if you're on a pilgrimage, you'll appear here. And that just about covers everything basic to do with the character view and what these scores are. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.